Israeli dance show at the Edinburgh International Festival this evening. The show, Hora by the Batsheva dance company from Tel Aviv, had to be stopped 3 times after protests inside the theatre. Now, earlier more than 100 people gathered outside to urge the festival's director to reconsider his invite to the company, which is funded by the Israeli government. Our arts correspondent Pauline McLean has this report.
Born from the embers of the Second World War, the Edinburgh International Festival promised a platform in peacetime for all cultures. This dance show from Tel Aviv, just one of the many international pieces being staged this year.
Palestinians stand very firm. Stand, oh, stand firm.
But outside the theatre there's a growing protest and calls for the show to be abandoned, not least because the Israeli Culture Minister is due to attend.
It has nothing whatsoever to do with their nationality, ethnicity, religion or anything else. It's solely to do with the fact that they are financed by the Israeli Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and they are part of an Israeli government initiative called Brand Israel. They sign a contract with the Israeli government not to mention the occupation, not to mention Israel being accused of war crimes and crimes against humanity, but only to work to prettify the state of Israel. So to draw a veil over Israel's war crimes. That's why they're targeted, there's no other reason. If an Israeli came here to sing or to busk or to perform in the Royal Mile, we would have no interest in them whatsoever.
Free Pussy Riot! Free Pussy Riot!
Indeed, Edinburgh's festivals are famous for offering a platform to many different views, and protest has always had its place, on stage and off.
But this is quite different. This is about stopping a performance going ahead, and it has the backing of some of Scotland's best-known writers and performers, among them Liz Lochhead, A.L. Kennedy and Ian Banks, all of whom signed a letter appealing to the director of Edinburgh's International Festival about putting this show on at all.
And for some fellow performers, that amounts to artistic censorship.
This is an international festival. Where do we stop? Where do we stop banning fellow human beings in the name of somebody making themselves important? Like me, I suppose, but I care about artistic freedom. And are you going to stop a Russian company coming because of what they're up to, because of what they're just done? Are you going to stop a Chinese company coming?
To others, the festival's recent International Cultural Summit shows the political power of culture and the need to have all countries involved. Israel was invited to send a delegate, although chose not to attend.
If people come to our country, or if people from our country go to a country like Israel, they're able to express their views, they're able to get people to see things in a different way. If you shut that door, you build that wall up, then you'll never be able to effect a change. You'll never be able to get people to see things differently or alter their perceptions of the situation. So it's important, we feel, to keep the dialogue open at all times.
Protests are not new to Batsheva, who faced a similar reception in New York recently.
We have had in some of our past tours protests against the policy of Israel and the government of Israel. Usually these protests take place outside the theatre, and they're usually very civil, and it's fine for people to voice their different opinions and attitudes. We're fine with that.
They say their work is not political, but they refuse to distance themselves from the Israeli government, their main source of funding.
No, actually, I'm quite proud that our country funds culture and that we merit this funding as a cultural institution.
And while the festival's director sympathises with the protesters, he says the show must go on.
This festival started at a time when there were huge disputes over borders, where people were killing each other. 60 million people had died. And I'm not trying to trivialize the very real political disputes and the very real problems that exist in a place like Israel, in a place like Palestine, in any number it might be said, of countries with which we choose to work. But we start always from the position of the individual voice or voices, the individual creativity of the artists themselves.
For those individual artists, the show did go on tonight, although it was halted 3 times. The run continues till the weekend, as will the protest.